What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the channel again. If you're new here, do not forget to subscribe. If you're returning, welcome back. Today, the F30 is getting a dash cam. So I've actually been putting this video off way longer than I'm proud to admit. I've actually had the dash camera in the box in my room since June 2019. It's currently March 2020. So needless to say, I'm super pumped to actually get this installed. But I'm gonna go ahead and show you guys everything that came in the box, everything you're gonna need in order to do it yourself. It'll all be linked below if you need it, and we'll go ahead and jump into it. So before we get started, guys, I want to do a huge thank you shout out to the rideshare guy on YouTube. He's actually the one that sent me over the dash cam, so huge thank you to you, man. If you guys are interested in anything rideshare related, go check out his page. He's got some killer content. All right, guys, so I went with the VaVa dash cam. I'll go over some details on why I chose this one over the other ones, but I'll show you guys what comes included in the box. So we have the camera itself. It's kind of like a hockey puck. There's the lens there. The actual mount for the windshield is right here, and it's actually a very strong magnet. So it goes together like this, and once it's together, it does not fall off. So that was actually a concern of mine, but as you can see, it does not come disconnected easily. But the reason why I like this one is because after it's mounted to the windshield and you say you have it facing forward to actually look at traffic, if something interesting is happening in your car, so you have someone in your car you're not familiar with, you can actually rotate this around as easily as just hand turning it. That way, if anything's going on in the car, you can see that. That leads me to my next point, which is a cool feature they included. I probably won't use it, but they include this snapshot button. So you can actually put 3M tape on the back of this and mount it somewhere in the car, and it's kind of like a camera shutter button. So it clicks, and you can take a picture with it. I honestly probably won't use it. I think it's more for people who are doing like scenic routes and stuff like that. So that's a cool feature, but I personally won't use it. Other things when it comes to the hardware, they do include a bunch of these 3M'd back clips that you can use to put the wires in when you're hiding them. So that was a cool thing for them to include. They also have a trim tool, which you don't see a lot. So the trim tool will actually use to hide the wires as I wire this through the car. And then you have the USB port. Now, funny thing about this is it actually has not only two USB ports here, but the cord, the power cord itself, is not permanently tied to one of these. The reason why I like that is because if I needed to extend this, you can just add a USB extension onto it. You don't have to be limited to saying if this was permanently attached to it. So little touch, but I personally really awesome, like really like that. But it does have an extra USB, so if you do want to charge something else there. So that leads me to the power cord itself. So the power cord is interesting for two things. One, it's a USB, which is great. So if you need to extend it, you can. But this feature right here, this is actually a 3M back GPS unit. So this dash cam actually has a GPS tracker in it, which not only means that you can track your travel, but say your car gets moved or anything like that, your phone app, since it's Wi-Fi enabled, it has an app, it will actually tell you where your car is located. I thought that was a really cool thing. So this is gonna get 3M mounted in just the top right-hand corner of the windshield as we wire the cables down to the actual power. Now, to kind of go over some of the features of the camera itself. So the camera itself is actually 1080p, like I mentioned. That means that it's recording in 1920 by 1080p, and that's at 60 frames a second. So that's a very good metric there. It also has the Sony Vision processor, which was a cool upgrade. It just means that your image is gonna be clear. You're gonna be able to pick out more license plates and see better at night. A couple other features that it lists in the, I'm going through the manual here. A couple other features that it lists is it also has parking mode. Parking mode means that if the car is parked and somebody bumps into your car, it actually activates the parking mode with the built-in battery, and it'll actually record that instance. So if somebody hits your car, you'll have it on recording. That leads me to the G sensor. The G sensor is what allows it to do that. The G sensor picks up movement when the car is bumped. It also has an emergency recording mode. So as you would assume, this is going to take a SD memory card, and the way that it works is it's going to loop record. So first in, first out. Once the memory card is full, the old data will be rolled out. Now, you can access all of this from your phone, and the important part about the emergency parking mode is that if you get into an accident, it'll record an emergency 20-second clip that cannot be deleted unless you manually delete it yourself. So from a safety aspect, that's a huge thing. So you can access everything on here from your phone. If there is an instance where you get into an accident, you can pull the footage on your cell phone and show insurance or the police officer right then versus having to plug a memory card into a computer later on during the day. So to me, in 2020, that's just a huge plus. But to kind of highlight the features overall, kind of the big ones, it has an app. It is 1080p. It's got GPS. It also rotates so you can film anything on the inside of the car. It's got the Sony camera, and it also has the G sensor and parking mode. That way you know your car is safe parked or driving. So that's everything that comes included in the box. Now to show you what you need to actually do the installation. So we're going to be using some of these clips with the 3M backing to hide some of the wires. We're also going to be using this to power it. So we are going to be hiding the wires for this dash cam install. We're going to be wiring them around the passenger side, down, and then underneath the dash. If you don't know, there's a cigarette lighter power port underneath there. Now, if the actual wire sticks down too far, I want to point it backwards instead because I don't want somebody kicking it, which is why I got this, which will basically make it go a 90-degree angle. But since the one that comes included is so short, we might not actually need it after all, but I got it just in case. As far as memory cards for the dash cam, I went and picked up the biggest one it'll hold, which is the 128 gigs. I got the Samsung model. This way, it'll hold as much footage as it can before it starts to loop over it. So I suggest getting the biggest one. This is the 128 gig micro SD. And then it also comes with one trim tool piece to help hide the wires. I suggest if you don't have one, go ahead and get yourself a trim tool kit. This is the one that I use. I think I paid less than $20 for this. But if you don't already have a trim tool kit, it might be a good time to go ahead and grab one. I use this a lot of the times that I work on the car. So it's a great thing to pick up and have in your garage. But that shows you guys kind of everything you need in order to actually install the dash camera, and I'll show you guys how to do it piece by piece. All right, guys, so we're sitting here in the passenger seat. I'm gonna go ahead and show you guys where I'm gonna be hiding the wires for this, and then we'll go ahead and jump into it. So we're gonna have the camera mounted somewhere here just to the right of the rearview mirror. I wanna do that so that it sits a little bit lower, so if I do wanna turn it around and capture, say, the passenger or anybody else in the car on the camera, I can for maybe even a reaction video or anything. But anyways, so as far as hiding the wires, so we're gonna start by tucking them behind the housing that goes around the rearview mirror. We're then gonna follow the channel along the top of the windshield. And then over here is where our GPS module is going to get mounted. So it's going to be right here in the corner, 3M'd up in there. And I already got it started up here in the corner just so you guys can see where that would go. Then the wire is going to continue to follow this crevice here along the pillar. And then we're going to use this rubber seal that goes along here. It's going to go all the way down. We're probably going to have to pop off just this panel here to get back behind that rubber seal back in there. And then it'll pop out just below the glove box. And we're going to go over to our power. All right, guys, so we're going to start in this top corner right here. I just kind of want to show you guys how easy it is to tuck these wires. So I did already start this, but I'm going to go ahead and undo it. So I'm going to pull it out there. Now, really, all I did to get this started is you take your trim tool and you want to pry out whatever surface. And I'm doing this at this angle just so you can see it. And you're literally just going to push your cable in like that. And then use your trim tool to push it down. Get a better angle here. Push it down into your gaps. And as you can see, I've got it started already. And then you're just gonna work your way down. So I'm gonna pry it out just a little bit, push it in, pry it out, push it in, and kind of just slowly work my way around. So as you can see, it's for the most part tucked in there, and then you just push it down like that, and then you've got it all the way. Take this, and I'm just gonna, you have to bear with me here. My tripod is actually mounted on my arm. I'm trying a new thing here. Okay, cool. So as you can see, there it's tucked. So that kind of just shows you guys how super simple that is. Okay, so let's go ahead and start it on the rest of this. So normally, guys, and I will kind of say this as a disclaimer, I would not normally start hardwiring a dash camera over here in this corner. The only reason I'm doing that is because I want to make sure that I get the GPS unit in the right way. And I already checked to make sure that I do in fact have enough wire, of course, to reach over to the center. So knowing that this cable here is going to be too long just to go from here to here, I'm not worried about it because I know I'm going to have some of this wire that's going to be excess that I'm going to have to tuck up underneath the headliner here anyways. So that's the only reason why I'm not worried about this. If you guys do not have a GPS module over here, make sure that you start over here first because you don't want to run out of wire down at the bottom. So as a repeat, make sure you start over here, and I would almost say put your dash camera on first, plug it in, and then start running the wires. It'll help with the hard wiring in the long run, but overall, that's the reason why I'm starting with this side first. So we'll go ahead and jump in, and I'm gonna start tucking this back here, and I've already played with it a little bit, and honestly, it doesn't require a whole lot of work since there's so much space up there. You can almost just push it up there with your fingers, especially knowing that I'm gonna have to store a lot of excess. I'm really just, you know, pushing it up there as much as I can. And I mean, it'll fall down a little bit until it has a little bit of support from your actual housing over here that's gonna hold it as well. But that kind of shows you I'm gonna start right there, but I'm gonna go ahead and get started. All right, so now that I've got it tucked up underneath here, and for a point here, I didn't actually have to take this housing off. I really just slowly pushed the wire in there and kind of pulled some tension on the housing up just slightly, just enough that I could get it tucked under there, and it went under just fine. And since that's holding it really tight, I'm not gonna have to worry about it falling down up here. You could use those extra adhesive clips if you feel like you need to. For me, I'm really not terribly all that worried about it. There's so much space up there that the wire just, it's hiding very well. So as you can see, I've already finished the whole top half of our wiring. Now I'll go ahead and get started on wiring down this rubber gasket. All right, honestly guys, I was expecting this to be much harder than it is. And this is honestly so simple. I think anyone could do this. But just to show you, so like I said, it's gonna come over here and it's gonna get tucked underneath this rubber seal. Literally, once you get it started, as you can see, it's just a rubber seal, and you literally will just stick it up there with the actual pry tool, and then, like, I'm just doing this with my finger. One finger. Look at that. Look how much I've hardwired already. You can see how super easy that is. Okay, so to kind of show you guys where we're at so far, so I've been working my way down this beam here behind the rubber seal, and I've gotten to this side over here. I did try to take this panel off. I didn't have much luck with it because it does actually tuck behind the rubber seal as well. So I'm kind of just slowly but surely just trying to pull up the rubber seal and tuck that back in there. You could probably pull this panel out and then just stick it behind it and have it poke out the bottom, but I kind of want to stay continuous and run it along this rubber seal all the way down to the bottom of the glove box down here. Okay guys, so we're looking underneath the dash here, so you can see the wire comes out right there. I think what I'm going to try to do is run it along the back, and then I'm actually going to try to tuck it up underneath the back there, run all the way around to here, pop out right here, maybe even bring it all the way over to here if I can, and then of course here's our power right there, so that way the wire will be completely hidden. But if not, if I can't get it all the way over here, I'll just end up zip tying the excess and using one of those clips and just mounting it up there in that back corner.
500 years of democracy and peace, and what did that produce? The cuckoo clock.
You can see that actually went really well. I was able to tuck it all the way around, all the way back up underneath here, all the way underneath. over here. And as you can see, I stuck a ton of the excess on this panel over here, just because since it's uptight against the fabric, it'll probably hold the majority of that. And then I've got it just poking it right there. Now I might put that slimline, the elbow neck that I was seeing, just to see if that fits on there better. Looking underneath the dash, this is what it kind of looks like when it's plugged in. So as I was saying, I may have an alternative so that someone's not kicking their feet up and kicking that, because I'm worried they're going to bend and break that cable. So the alternative is to use one of these 90-degree angle elbows here. Basically, you'll plug in the cigarette lighter there, and then you'll have 2 cigarette lighters there that will point backwards. I'll show you guys what that will look like. Hook it in there. And we'll go ahead and plug this in. Okay. Put the wire backwards. Okay. So that's what that would kind of look like. And, you know, really that's going to hide the wire, I think, better. I think it looks less conspicuous from the front. You know, it just kind of looks like a module down there. But the biggest thing that I was concerned about is it getting kicked. So this, I mean, you can kick this all you want. It's not going to mess up the cable. It's not going to mess up the wire, but so that's kind of the benefit of that. All right, so let's fast forward a few days, guys. I've actually got it hooked up here behind the mirror, like I said. And it's been a couple days. I've been running it in the car and seeing what I think, and, you know, taking it for drives and seeing how the footage comes out. The GPS function, I wanted to tell you guys a little bit about that. So the GPS feature, it tracks the path that your car travels, all the roads that you go on, and puts it into almost like a stream so that you can follow it. You can go in and see the actual roads that you took if you're looking for, you know, see where you went or anything like that. You know, there's a million different reasons that you could, you know, want to look up that information. But for the price point, I haven't seen any other cameras that are, you know, in that same price point that have offered the GPS. And using the app and everything, it works so flawlessly. I was honestly surprised. It's really smooth. I didn't have any glitching issues. The camera overall has performed as well really great. The footage itself, of course, is 1080p, but I was actually surprised after downloading it and checking it out and seeing how clear the footage was. You know, I was granted not going out on the best day. It was a little overcast and the visibility wasn't that great, but the camera, it did really good. I was able to see the cars in front of me. You know, when it comes to an accident, you're looking at close encounters, and that's the whole purpose behind it. And I think it would do great with that. You know, I was able to see pedestrians walking. I think I drove through a parking lot to test it out too. But I also tested out the inside camera footage. Don't know of a whole lot of instances where you would use the inside cabin footage. Maybe if you were, you know, in the car with somebody you're not terribly familiar with. I think it's more set up and geared towards the audience and people that are going to use it for, you know, long road trips, because you can turn it around, you can use the snapshot button that comes with it and actually take pictures of, you know, the group. It's hands-free. It makes it a lot simpler. Same thing if it's facing forward, you're able to easily take pictures too. So that's kind of a bonus feature in the package. But the footage itself came out really well inside and outside the cabin. There wasn't any glare. I was also looking for any type of vibration or wobble in the footage being mounted on the windshield. I didn't have any of that. Overall, the camera, it really did surprise me. I had average hopes for this camera, and it really did, for the price point especially, went above and beyond. I mean, I know you can go out there and you can go get, you know, $400, $500 dash cameras easily. And while they may work amazing, and I know that there's a lot of other people out there that are also buying on a budget. They want to buy, you know, the best camera, the biggest bang for their buck. They want to find something that is the equal amount of benefit and functionality to cost justification. And that's where I kind of try to float in, because I feel like there's a lot of the people out there that, you know, enjoy that content. And to me, this camera is right in that bucket. I think it's right around $100, and to have GPS, G-sensor, the Sony camera, parking mode. I mean, this thing can stay parked. You can not be in the car, and if somebody hits your car with a grocery cart, it has an internal battery built in. It turns on and will record that instance and let you know when you get back in the car. I just think for the price point, that's awesome. And being 1080p, I honestly expected the footage to be poor, but, you know, after downloading it, it actually was really good. But anyways, I could talk about this camera for a while. I've actually had it installed for a couple weeks. I've been kind of filming this video over an extended amount of time. Work has been absolutely crazy with everything that's going on. So been trying to get out here and get this video finished. Yes, so the camera is great. I've enjoyed it. The app works really well. The footage came out awesome. The features are great. But that is kind of where I'm going to finish up today's video. I'm going to make sure that I include all the links to these items that I went over in the description so that you guys can check those out if you're interested. Make sure you guys subscribe to the channel, hit that like button, show me some support. Check me out on Instagram for daily posts. And as always, guys, I really appreciate you guys checking the video out. I'll see you guys in the next one.